Sony has given us a lot of Spider-Man animated goodness in the form of the Spiderverse films, but it's time for Disney to try their hand at a new show. With a new Peter, a new Spider-Man, and an alternate timeline to the events that have happened in the MCU, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man gives fans something both familiar and unfamiliar. We'll be covering that with our 107 facts about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Let's go! Number 1. Jeff Trammell originally pitched for X-Men 97 but stood out for wanting to tell an original story. That got him on Marvel's radar and they thought he'd be perfect for a Spider-Man series. He pitched his idea in November 2020, planning a 4-season story arc. Number 2. Spider-Man Freshman Year was first announced in November 2021 with Jeff Trammell as the showrunner. Number 3. At San Diego Comic-Con 2022, Marvel Studios introduced the term Marvel Animated Multiverse and confirmed a second season titled Spider-Man Sophomore Year. By December 2023, the show got a rebrand, officially becoming your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Kevin Feige himself suggested a new title. Number 4. The show was originally meant to take place in the MCU's Sacred Timeline, before Civil War, covering Peter's origin, but that was too limiting. Marvel Studios already skipped his origin in the movies since audiences already knew it from the Raimi and Webb films, and instead they shifted to an alternate timeline using the multiverse to tell a fresh story with different characters and influences. Number 5. Trammell and his team took heavy inspiration from the classic Amazing Spider-Man comics by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, as well as the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. The goal was to approach familiar characters in new ways, like making Norman Osborn Peter's mentor and keeping his father Richard Parker alive. Number 6. While you might expect the show to mimic the aesthetic of Marvel's What If series, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has a unique animation style that's a huge throwback to the early Amazing Spider-Man comics by Steve Ditko and John Romita Sr. It uses a mix of 3D and cel-shaded animation to make it look like a moving comic book, giving it a cool retro feel while still feeling modern. Number 7. The animation for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is handled by Polygon Pictures, who have done Transformers Prime, Knights of Sidonia, and CGCG Inc., who have done Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Troll Hunters, and more. Their expertise in cel-shaded 3D animation brings a dynamic comic-inspired look that blends nostalgia with modern visuals. Number 8. In January 2025, Trammell revealed that each season wouldn't just cover one school year, giving them more flexibility in storytelling. He also confirmed that every episode title in Season 1 is inspired by Spider-Man comics. Number 9. By February, it was revealed that Season 2 would drop in 2026, but Marvel hopes to start releasing new seasons annually. Number 10. Mel Zwyer serves as the supervising director, with Liza Singer and Stu Livingston directing episodes. Executive producers include Kevin Feige, Louis D'Esposito, Brad Winderbaum, Dana Vasquez Eberhardt, and of course Jeff Trammell. Number 11. Winderbaum said the series is so essentially Spider-Man because it nails the balance of high school life, family struggles, and superhero responsibilities. The large cast brings the neighborhood vibe to life, just like Trammell's work on Craig of the Creek. Number 12. The show shakes things up by making Nico Minoru Peter's best friend instead of Harry Osborn or Ned Leeds. Other surprise additions include Jean Foucault and Amadeus Cho, with Trammell even considering a young Jessica Jones as one of Peter's classmates. Number 13. Trammell led a writing team including Charlie Nooner, Raven Cohn, and Halima Lucas. He wrote half of Season 1 but had to step back in Season 2 due to his showrunner duties. By January 2025, Season 2 scripts were done and Trammell was preparing his pitch for Season 3. With a long-term plan from the start, this series is building a major narrative arc across multiple seasons. Number 14. Hudson Thames returns as the voice of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. You may recognize his voice as he was also the voice of Spider-Man in Marvel's What If series. Number 15. Unlike his MCU counterpart, this version of Peter Parker is a freshman at Rockford T. Bales High School, which means he doesn't really get to meet MJ and Ned. Number 16. Peter's outfit, with his round glasses, sweater vest, and blue jacket, is straight out of the art style of Steve Ditko, one of Spider-Man's co-creators. This show intentionally makes Peter look like his earliest comic book appearances, reinforcing the idea that this is a story set in the beginning of his superhero journey. Number 17. Carrie Walgreen portrays May Parker, Peter's widowed aunt, and also voices Roxana Volkov, a Russian criminal. Number 18. Grace Song plays Nico Minoru, Peter's best friend and classmate who secretly practices witchcraft. Number 19. Eugene Bird voices Lonnie Lincoln, aka Tombstone, the Bales football captain who joins the 110th Street gang to protect his brother, leading him down a dark path. Number 20. Speaking of the 110th Street gang, It is new to Marvel and was created exclusively for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Number 21. Zeno Robinson portrays Harry Osborn, who is an influencer in this universe, and Norman's son, who befriends Peter and serves as his dude at the desk, a nod to MCU's guy in the chair trope. Number 22. Coleman Domingo plays Norman Osborn, the CEO of Oscorp, Harry's father and Peter's mentor. Unlike Tony Stark in the MCU, Norman's methods may not be in everyone's best interests. Number 23. Hugh Dancy voices Otto Octavius, a scientist who sells high-tech weaponry to criminals, and who will eventually become Doc Ock. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't happen in this universe? Well, only time will tell. Number 24. And Charlie Cox reprises his role as Daredevil, a blind vigilante with superhuman senses who crosses paths with Spider-Man. Number 25. The opening logo for Marvel Animation pays homage to the rich history of Marvel's animated TV shows. It kicks off with classic shows like the 1960s Spider-Man and Fantastic Four cartoons, moves through X-Men the Animated Series, and even includes a nod to the criminally underrated Silver Surfer series. It then jumps back to modern animation featuring What If, Marvel Zombies, and an image of Black Panther. Number 26. The way the first episode opens up with large text reading Queens is similar to how Spider-Man was introduced in Captain America Civil War. Oh, and trust me, this isn't going to be the first time they're going to reference that particular film. Number 27. At the start of the series, Peter is seen reading Amazing Adult Fantasy number 14. This is a big deal because the very next issue, Amazing Fantasy number 15, is where Spider-Man made his first appearance. Number 28. If you place Aunt May's apartment from the MCU films side by side with the one found in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, you'll notice that they're practically one-to-one. Number 29. When Peter misses the subway, Peter grabs his backpack and looks like he's about to reach into it to grab his suit, just like he did in Spider-Man Homecoming. But instead, it turns out to be a misdirect, playing with fans' expectations. Number 30. The skyline shot of Queens in the intro also includes Avengers Tower, just as it appeared in Civil War. This suggests that, at least at the start of the show, the universe is very close to the main MCU timeline before things start to take a little divergence here and there. Number 31. When Aunt May picks Peter up, there's a little Iron Man air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror. This confirms that Tony Stark does exist in this universe, even though he hasn't played a big role in Peter's life like he did in the MCU. Number 32. When we finally get to Midtown High, the show features a shot reminiscent of one seen in Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 33. Doctor Strange makes an appearance in this first episode, and this version of Doctor Strange has his iconic mustache and gloves, which makes him look closer to his original comic book design compared to his MCU counterpart. Number 34. The show's opening sequence is a love letter to Spider-Man's history. It features Band-Aid dots, the old school comic book printing style that Into the Spider-Verse used, as well as a remix of the classic 1960s Spider-Man theme song. Number 35. Some of the panels in the opening sequence utilize a bit of storytelling while also packing some references. We see Peter tinkering with his homemade web shooters, which is straight out of his second comic book appearance, and in another we see one of his earliest crime fighting attempts. Peter creates a mask out of webbing, just like he did in Amazing Fantasy number 15 during his first ever wrestling match. Number 36. One particular shot seen in the opening sequence seems to mimic the way Tobey Maguire's Peter climbs up a wall, with the framing being extremely similar. Number 37. There's one particular section where we see a montage of various Spider-Man suits, including the Big Time suit, the Hornet and Prodigy costumes from Identity Crisis, and even a quick nod to the Future Foundation suit, which he wore when he joined the Fantastic Four. Number 38. The boxes that each suit is framed around are taken from the Spider-Man comics as well. These are the boxes featured on the top left of the covers of the Spider-Man comics. Number 39. In addition to the suits, the poses seen in the montage are taken from the comics as well, with each pose referencing different Spider-Man comics. Number 40. This first opening sequence ends with Spider-Man striking a pose similar to his debut cover in Amazing Fantasy number 15. Number 41. In addition to the overt cover reference, the title of the episode is Amazing Fantasy, leaning more into that particular reference. Number 42. Cleb finds a way into Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and can be seen as Spider-Man jumps over him in the streets. If the name doesn't ring a bell, he's the do-a-flip guy from Spider-Man Homecoming and the guy filming the bus fight in Shang-Chi. Number 43. Cleb is portrayed by none other than Zach Cherry, who plays Cleb in the films. Number 44. There's a shot of a cop car driving by, and instead of NYPD, the side says PDNY. While this might seem like a way to avoid straight up using the NYPD branding, it seems more intentional when you see that it's also used in the Spider-Verse films. Number 45. Later in the episode, we see a shot of Peter returning home. This shot is extremely reminiscent of the way he comes home in the MCU. However, instead of a Tony Stark reveal, we instead see Norman Osborn. Number 46. Oh, also a fun little detail, but Peter can be seen grabbing a DVD player like the one he's seen carrying when he comes back home in the MCU films as well. Number 47. At Peter's Oscorp internship, we're introduced to an expanded cast of characters that we don't really see in the MCU. There's Asha, who's a student from Wakanda. Number 48. Amadeus Cho is another of Peter's colleagues, being the son of Helen Cho, the scientist from Age of Ultron. In the comics, Amadeus also becomes a Hulk, but we'll just have to wait for the later seasons to see if that'll happen in the show. Number 49. Carla Connors makes her debut appearance as well, serving as this universe's version of Dr. Connors. Number 50. When Peter visits Norman's office, a photo of him standing next to Wakanda's King T'Chaka is displayed right beside his picture with Captain America. This suggests Norman has some very, very serious connections, but he is also a very, very powerful man, so what's surprising there? Number 51. Episode 3 gives us some one-on-one scenes with Peter and Norman, and while we're not at that point yet, there seems to be some foreshadowing in the room. For one, at dinner with Norman Osborn, there's a giant painting of the Brooklyn Bridge, which is a bridge that is very important to the conflicts between Spider-Man and Norman's alter ego, the Green Goblin. Number 52. When Norman's showing Peter footage of Spider-Man, one of the clips is of Spider-Man stopping a car from hitting a bus. This footage is very similar to the one that Tony Stark shows Peter when they first met. Number 53. Peter tries to dodge accusations that he's Spider-Man using the classic comic book excuse that Norman's security team must have been playing a prank. But Norman has video proof from his private cameras. He even tells Peter he should have just said he and Spider-Man were friends, which is an excuse that he's used plenty of times in both the comics and the MCU. Number 54. Just like in Captain America Civil War, Peter's biggest concern is keeping Aunt May from finding out he's Spider-Man. Norman understands, knowing that Peter doesn't want her to worry about him, but if the MCU timeline is any indication, it's only a matter of time before she finds out anyway, but hopefully it doesn't end like the MCU timeline. Number 55. Norman has a bunch of ideas for Spider-Man's upgrades, but quickly dismisses the idea of giving him a drone. Iron Man, however, did include a mini drone in Peter's homecoming suit, which Peter nicknamed Droney. Number 56. Much like the suitcase Peter uses from Far From Home, this version of Peter has a sentimental keepsake from Uncle Ben, an old camera. It's a nice nod to Peter's original job in the comics as a photographer for the Daily Bugle. Number 57. Maria Vasquez and James Sander get some high-tech gear from a mystery benefactor, which helps them resemble their comic book counterparts, Tarantula and Speed Demon. Number 58. A fun little detail is that Speed Demon is voiced by Roger Craig Smith, the same actor who voices Sonic the Hedgehog, and gotta go fast. Number 59. The opening for episode 4 adds a little twist to Lonnie's look in the opening. Lonnie is tinged blue, foreshadowing his eventual alter ego, Tombstone. Number 60. Much like the other opening sequences, the end of episode 4's opening is an homage to the cover for issue number 100 of The Amazing Spider-Man. Number 61. The news confirms that the airport battle in Germany still happens, and that the Sokovia Accords are still in effect, just without Spider-Man's involvement at all. Norman tells Peter not to worry about it, assuring him that if the Accords ever become a problem, he'll handle it. Number 62. Speaking of Germany, Iron Man appears there, and his design, just like a lot of the designs in the show, are inspired by his classic comic book look. This was hinted at with Aunt May's car air freshener, but confirmed via the news. Number 63. Another news article we see covers Hulk's rampage in Johannesburg from Age of Ultron. Number 64. One more news article covers the events of Captain America Civil War with the bombing of the UN that kills T'Chaka. Number 65. When Peter shows off his notebook of Spider-Man costume sketches, the masks that are seen in the notebook, the little doodles he has, are references to past artists such as Steve Ditko, Todd McFarlane, Mark Bagley, and John Romita. Number 66. Norman presents Peter with a variety of suit ideas, including ones inspired by Thor, the Wasp, and even a black wingsuit that gives off Batman vibes. Peter even tries to do a deep voice for fun. None of them work for Peter, but they're actually just references to the Identity Crisis comic storyline, where Peter had to take on new identities when Norman put a bounty on Spider-Man. Number 67. One of the suits that Norman leaves is in a suitcase reminiscent of the one that Happy Hogan leaves Peter in Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 68. Peter's new white suit with black eyes is clearly inspired by the Future Foundation suit from the comics, though this version has unique blue and red accents. Norman's vision for Spider-Man as a new generation of heroes makes it pretty clear that this suit represents Peter's future potential. Number 69. Back on the streets, the 110's rivals, the Scorpions, are led by Mac Gargan, aka the classic Scorpion villain from Homecoming. The gang also includes Carmilla Black, another Marvel character who was a SHIELD agent and the daughter of AIM's Scientist Supreme, Monica Rappaccini. Number 70. A Russian gang also appears, featuring some notable villains from the comics. There's Dmitry Smerdyakov, Chameleon, Mikhail Sitsevich, Rhino's dad, and Mila Masaryk, Unicorn. There's also Roxana Volkov. Number 71. Roxana briefly mentions the Tracksuit Mafia, confirming that the criminal gang from Hawkeye and the comics exists in this alternate MCU timeline. Number 72. Otto Octavius is revealed to be the mastermind behind all the high-tech weapons falling into the hands of criminals. He looks exactly like how he was drawn in the original Spider-Man comics, but he doesn't have his iconic mechanical arms yet. Number 73. Otto Octavius represents yet another villain that wasn't present in Earth 616. Just like Norman Osborn. Number 74. Harry, excited after learning Peter's secret, is eager to become his dude at the chair, a fun callback to the main MCU where Ned Leeds was Peter's guy in the chair. Number 75. Being consistent with the events of Civil War and Homecoming, Peter mentions that Captain America might be a war criminal, which is what Peter's teacher mentions in passing during Homecoming. Number 76. Harry throws out a conspiracy theory that the real Captain America died 4 years ago and was replaced by a clone. This could be a nod to Spider-Man's infamous Clone Saga storyline from the comics where multiple Peter Parkers existed at the same time. Number 77. Nico shows Peter Harry's social media accounts, which include a picture of him hanging out with Marvel's K-pop superhero Luna Snow. Number 78. Harry's social handle is just at Harry Osborn. However, unlike some social media stunts that you see nowadays, trying to search up his handle doesn't result in anything special in real life. Number 79. Lonnie earns the nickname Tombstone after saving Big Donovan during the brawl session between the 110 and the Scorpions. He seems to like the respect and protection that comes with the gang life, setting him on a path towards his villainous future. Number 80. Another episode, another reference, and for episode 6 we have one that isn't a Spider-Man comic book cover and is instead a reference to a Daredevil comic book cover, hinting at what's to come in this episode. Number 81. One of the tapes that Peter has available to watch when he invites Nico and Harry over to his place is titled Zaniac, which is a reference to Loki Season 2's Brad Wolfe, who attends a film premiere for Zaniac. Number 82. Another tape that Peter has is called Tombbuster, which is the film that is mentioned in Moon Knight Episode 4. Number 83. At the Lagos Benefit Charity Gala, we get a few appearances from individuals whose names you might recognize. Eleanor Bishop, Kate Bishop's mom, and the CEO of Bishop Security can be seen as one of the contributors at the gala. Number 84. Another name and face you might recognize is none other than Secretary Thaddeus Ross, who just had his moment in Captain America Brave New World. Number 85. Norman Osborn and Ross can be heard and seen conversing, with the topic of conversation being a missing Steve Rogers. The conversation is an interesting one because it's another detail that adds to the fact that this is an alternate timeline to that of the MCU. Number 86. Daredevil makes his first appearance in the show, but what makes it even better is that he's voiced by Charlie Cox, the same actor playing him in the MCU. Number 87. Daredevil can be seen in his black suit, which is a throwback to season 1 of the Daredevil live-action show, seen on Netflix. Number 88. Another small detail is that you can hear a bit of Daredevil's theme during his appearance, which is an additional touch to the cameo. Number 89. This cameo is a little special because this is the first time that both heroes have met while in costume. Number 90. Unlike in Homecoming, where the Tinkerer made the Shocker's gear, this show establishes that Dr. Octavius is behind the villain's tech. Number 91. The title card for episode 7 is a reference to Amazing Spider-Man 3:18. Number 92. While trying to track down Otto Octavius with Norman, there are some callbacks to Spider-Man 2. There's a little info box that reads Tritanium, and when asked about solar energy, Norman mentions that Octavius probably hasn't found a way to harness the power of the sun, referring to Doc Ock's famous line, "The power of the sun in the palm of my hand," from Spider-Man 2. Number 93. Clev makes a return in episode 7 as he can be seen watching and filming the street race that Nico and Harry take part in. Number 94. The Scorpion fight in this episode has some parallels with the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. In both this and the film, Spider-Man gets beaten up badly to the point where parts of his mask are torn off. There's also the appearance of the Goblin's glider, except instead of being used as a weapon, like in the Sam Raimi film, it's used to save Peter from the Scorpion. Number 95. Episode 8's opening sequence brings a little comic book reference. In the opening sequence, Peter's suit can be seen in the trash bin while he walks away, referencing a similar event that happens on the cover for The Amazing Spider-Man issue 50. Number 96. Iron Man makes a special appearance in this episode with a guitar version of the Avengers theme playing right as he lands. Number 97. Norman Osborn tells Peter a slightly different version of the famous Uncle Ben quote. Instead of power and responsibility, Norman Osborn tells Peter, "With great power comes great respect." Number 98. At the end of the episode, Harry tells Peter to go get him, Tiger, which is what MJ says in the comics and what she told Peter in the Sam Raimi films. But, without MJ in the show, who else is gonna say it? Number 99. Episode 9's title card gives us a Scorpion-heavy reference, this being a reference to issue 215 of Spectacular Spider-Man. Number 100. During the fight against Scorpion, Lonnie knocks over a canister of gas, the same type of gas that gives him indestructible skin in the comics, furthering his progression into Tombstone. Number 101. Also, in the same truck where Lonnie knocks over the gas, he mentions a gravity gun, which references the Tinkerer's gun from Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 102. Mirroring another MCU film, Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter nearly loses control of himself when he tries to kill Scorpion. However, he's stopped by Lonnie Lincoln, who gets in Peter's way before he can deal the killing blow. Number 103. After the fight, Peter meets up with Nico in an alleyway. He hangs upside down, similar to how Peter meets MJ in the Sam Raimi films, but instead of a kiss, our Peter here is met with a punch to the face. Number 104. The title for episode 10 is If This Be My Destiny, and it's a reference to the comics with the cover of The Amazing Spider-Man number 31 sharing this same line. Number 105. Osborn's mention of an incident happening in New Mexico as well as the Chitauri invasion further ties and solidifies the idea that certain events from the MCU had happened in this timeline. Number 106. When talking to Doctor Strange, Peter mentions that he believes that things that are supposed to happen find a way to happen, which is similar to the idea of canon events from the Spider-Verse films. Number 107. The Watcher can be seen in the final shot of the season, watching over Peter as he looks out towards the city. And that is 107 facts about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Did we miss anything? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, also let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and remember, Frederator loves you.